Hey guys, yeah, it's been quite a long time since we've done a video, but just been so busy, just really been busy. This is something of an impromptu, on the fly update. I mean, me and Guy, we are just fully busy on Bill George Y-Wings at the moment. We've literally just every week it's hammer and tongs, hammering away at getting the Bill George Y-Wings built, which now the first, well, we're over halfway of getting the hull and engine assemblies actually base coated, not just primered, but Guy's been putting base coat on them now. But this was just a quick one. Recently I showed a fairly elusive picture of this, the Bowmar Monk Spider Droid, and I myself started research on this 2 years or more ago. I mean, we were around working on identifying and researching the Bill George, and I was actually on the side trying to put all the pieces together to actually build this. Original Polaroids are pictured in the original Star Wars Chronicles book. I've always looked at those images, a lot of the maquette images in that book, and thought I really want to build some of those someday, and this was one of them that I really did want to do. So I started researching it, had some success with finding a good number of the parts, probably about a 70% ID. I mean, there's not that many parts used on it. But yeah, once we really got down to it, we kind of resumed work on it and decided to have at it, so to speak. There were 2 parts remaining to ID, which were the little part that holds the claw and a small part that's on the underside. So I'd ID'd everything else bar those, and Guy actually found the 2 remaining parts while we were at the workshop one of the days. So that allowed us to get a full ID of this maquette model, which was actually built by Joe Johnston. We had confirmation. I mean, it was always I think it was always rumoured that Joe actually built this model, and then we were like, yeah, are we really sure? You know, we don't really know. But then we had some ILM insider confirmation that yes, Joe Johnston did actually build this model. It is primarily made from donor kit parts and a few found items, so it's yeah, it's more of a model, not a maquette. You know, it's not a sculpture, but as you can see, it's actually very basic in its form. It's very simple, very delicate and fine. I mean, you can have a look at a few of the more of the details now, which we have been a bit elusive on. I mean, we want to keep this model pretty exclusive. So yeah, we haven't shared too much, but I decided maybe it's time to just do a small rundown of it. But as you can see, the body there, and the hubs that make up the shoulders for the legs, and then we've got the actual upper hip joints. Those are all kit parts. Those are all found kit parts. The legs, which are a found item, and then we've got the globe here, the brain, so to speak, or yeah, I'm sure it's a brain, isn't it, or intestines? I'm not actually sure. It's disgusting blob in some fluid. That's actually latex. We used. I sculpted various just disgusting looking shapes from epoxy sculpt and moulded them, and it was while we were over at the unit, Guy actually played around with some liquid latex in the mould, actually microwaving it, and it had this amazing effect of just creating this disgusting blare of a blob, and then that's obviously set into a special resin, which then is tinted. We did put quite a bit of research into the globe. A lot of work went into that. We had a lot of failures and just mucking about, and a fair bit of wasted money on various different mediums to actually put the brain and these little wires into, but this one has worked beautifully. The one thing we did have to do, because this model is so delicate, I mean, it's super delicate, and this is actually a resin casting. These are not original kit parts you're seeing here. These are actually the resin castings done by Ed Francais, our resident super duper resin caster. He's an absolute genius with resin. So these are all resin, but what we did have to do, we did have to create just a little armature on the bottom to incorporate a mount. Now the reason for that is these kit parts here in resin, I really would not trust them to not warp, which would be a real shame for them to warp. So they're bonded onto the hubs, but when you actually get the weight of this thing, which isn't heavy, it's not heavy, but the globe has got a substantial weight to it. So the head itself and globe, they're actually supported by a brass armature. So there's nothing's going to fall off the head. The head's not going to sag or anything like that. Everything's supported by brass there. But it did mean we had to put a support mount in, which I've just used steel there, just a plain steel, which in steel, it isn't that overbearing. It's not that noticeable. It's not too bad. And then I just made a makeshift little plaque that you can see on the imagery in Chronicles, denoting this as maquette number 22, which Bausch here, she was maquette number 50, I believe. I mean, if you see them side by side, the Spider Droids, it's a substantial size, as Bausch is a 1/6 based figure. This is my own almost finished one now. It just needs a bit more weathering and the staff tip to do. I just need to finish that off, and that's one of my wooden and fabric builds. So yeah, it's a fair size, it's a nice size. It's very small here, but then when you get the legs on it, this is actually my own personal build. We did build a prototype, which is over with Guy at the Archive X unit. The prototype's sitting there. Guy's actually played around with just some probably subtle weather patterns on the prototype. That was basically just so I could just learn how to build them, and I've learned a lot. I mean, the build will slightly change from my one here, only very slightly, just slight fine adjustments, because it's quite a tricky set of parts to assemble. There are some very slight modifications that have to be made for it to actually go together as you see it here. But look out for this one. We are planning something with it. I'm not going to say too much, but yeah, there are definite plans to do something with this maquette, seeing as we put so much just time, effort and passion into it. It's just such a wonderful looking creepy thing when you actually get it assembled and in just a black paint coat. I mean, this is actually just Halford's matte black. I didn't even bother using the Archive X engine black. We felt that the Halford's matte black had the correct sheen that we see on the actual physical prop in the photographs. It's got a little bit more of a sheen than a matte coat, which is something we noticed, which was again fun to replicate. And for some reason, yeah, the Halford's matte black did a wonderful job of emulating that look. So yeah, guys, just a quick one. hopefully get some more videos and content out soon. Just as I said, it's just been so busy, but hopefully be doing an update on the Bill George Y-wings very soon. Very much hoping to maybe document some of the painting on those while Guy does it. I'll have a free set of hands then, because I'll be free of building or any major building, and it'll be watching Guy, bring them to life in paint. So I'd very much like to get some of that on film to share with you all. But and yeah, I mean, there are plenty of other projects coming. I mean, this thing here will follow the Bill George Y-wing, but there are other things in the pipeline. But I hope you've enjoyed having a little look at it, and thanks for all the support from everybody and following the channel. Thanks guys, and I'll see you soon.